You're looking at a daily chart of the NASDAQ, and yeah, we had a follow through day on Friday, and we've had more new highs and new lows every day this year, 2023. But it's trading below the 50. It traded up to it today and got rejected, and it's still more than 9% below the downtrending 200. You can see the moving averages are all in downtrend. So I can't get too excited until well, somebody asked me, like, what's it going to take you to become bullish? So I'll become more bullish when this index can trade through this downtrending 200. It'll make me a lot more bullish. You can see it has been trading below it since January 18th. It's been nearly a year. So I can't get excited about a couple of days. And we don't really have a lot of leadership, but it is encouraging that the index is doing better and growth stocks are doing a little bit better than value right now. Anyway, that's it for the NASDAQ. It's got a lot of work to do. The S&P 500, kind of the same thing here, trading below the 200 today. It got rejected at the 50, and it just closed a tick below it there. Yeah, 0.3% below. So it could certainly trade through the 50 and through the 200. We need some momentum here to get this thing back above 4,000. But we'll see. Jerome Powell speaking tomorrow, so I'm sure he's going to be quite hawkish. I want to take a look at the oil sector. You have to go to the oil sector. Some of these, groups have sold off. The oil complex is huge. There's a lot of different components to it. And the field services stocks, it's a number 2 group, and Tidewater advanced more than 4% today on strong volume. So this stock is being bought by institutions, and as long as it's above these moving averages, it's doing nothing wrong. It's 6.4% above its 10 EMA. That's where it closed today. So that's certainly a strong stock. I got an alert today that Schlumberger, the slob, was breaking out. It was up more than 2%, and a little bit above average daily volume. And it's, above its moving averages, 4.7% above its 10 EMA. So that one is doing well. Another one in the group is Halliburton. This is, again, the field services stock, and it was up slightly today with stronger volume. And, they're 3.8% above their 10 EMA. Those are strong stocks and doing well. Now, the exploration stocks are not doing well. Devon made a low. It's been up for consecutive days, but you can still see that it's 6.1% below its 50 simple moving average. This is Occidental. Another one below. It's 5.1% below the 50. So maybe it'll rally through there. You can't tell, but this is the exploration stocks, and then the other oil group is the integrated. And here's Chevron. This is a big integrated stock, and it hit its 50 and got rejected today and closed 1.8% below the 50. So that one's a little weaker. The integrated stocks are just not quite as strong. ConocoPhillips, again, below the 50, couldn't even rally up to it today. And anyway, let's move on to the solar stocks, because these things were strong as well. This is now, it was the number 1 group. Now it's number 71. This is Enphase, and it just looks like a whole bunch of selling here. The way this thing trades, it'll probably have a good earnings report and make a new high in a few weeks. Wouldn't surprise me. Nothing would surprise me with this stock. Looks like it closed this gap here with it, but it still has this one to go, 219.79. So it didn't quite get there today, but maybe soon. The low is 227. It's only got $8 to go. The other one is First Solar, which doesn't have the fundamentals that Enphase does, but it's trading much better. It's above its 50 simple moving average, 2.2% above it. So First Solar is doing okay. Let's go to the biotech. There was a bunch of buyouts in biotech today, and you would think it would rally, but it did not. The biotechs got sold off. They've had a good run. This is a Cencora Pharma, was bought out by AstraZeneca, and you could see the gap up there. I think the price is about $28, so you could put that one in the books. There's a lot of big pharma stocks, companies with a lot of money, and they've been buying companies like crazy. Amgen is another one that just recently bought a company, and it sliced It's 50 and now trying to rally back through that area. Merck is another one that's been on a roll, traded down to its 21 today. We'll see if it finds support. I know they're at the JP Morgan conference in San Francisco, and they're presenting tonight. So maybe they'll bring some good news, or maybe they won't say anything. Here's Gilead. This one sliced its 21 today and closed just barely above its 50. So maybe it'll trade down to its 50 tomorrow. But these things have had good runs. If you look at their weeklies, you could see this big base and a strong run. So as long as it stays above the moving averages, that they're doing nothing wrong. The Botox stock, Revance, I've talked about this one quite a bit with Amylyx, because they got their drugs approved on the same day, and it was a nice 1-2 punch. But this one pulled back to its 200 today, gapped higher. Yeah, 54%, not a bad day, huh? Excuse me. Yeah, 54%, nice day. And the other one I wanted to show was the I mentioned Amylyx. I'll go to Amylyx. This thing's just trading sideways. These guys are going to launch their drug in Q1. And, you never know how it's going to go. If it's going to be ordered, it's going to be successful. How are they going to execute? How is the team going to manage the launch? You really never know how these new drugs are going to perform. And speaking of new drugs, TGTX has a new drug too. And I'm kind of curious. They're going to be launching as well. There's a multiple sclerosis drug, and we'll see how they launch and how this is received. I have a feeling it might be a little better than Amylyx, but we'll see. These management teams have to execute. And then one of the top stocks that we have at MC Stock Charts is Catalyst, CPRX, and it sold off a little bit today, down to its 10 EMA, then bounced. So it's doing nothing wrong. And it's been climbing. I mean, if you just look at the weekly chart, you can just see this thing's been on a roll for most of 2022 and carried on to 23. So yeah, that one's doing nothing wrong. Anyway, let's move on. I want to go to the retail because excuse me, I wanted to go to Dexcom because they reported this morning that they didn't report. They announced that they're going to have like 20% growth, going forward, which is a little bit better than the 17 and 18% they've been putting together. So that kind of disappointed Wall Street. I don't really know why. 20% is pretty good. And I'm sure when they report earnings on February 10th, they lower the bar so they can hurdle over it. And that's the game they play. So I definitely keep an eye on Dexcom. Anyway, I wanted to get to Lulu. Lulu sold off today. They have a margin pressure. The $300 yoga pants are selling for, $275 or $280 now, big deal. But they had a little margin crunch, and they probably have a little inventory issue as well. But it's a, nice growth stock, high quality. It's more towards the high end. They have really expensive clothing. Some of the stocks that I thought would sell off with that news was like Crocs. But, Crocs hung in there, was up 2%. There's no company in retail that has better margins than Crocs. You can see down here, they have over 50%, 54.9% margins. This thing, they make really inexpensive shoes. And so their margins are just, well above any in the business. And so they can afford to be a little promotional at Christmas time. I think that's what we saw in retail. So these companies are just having, 50, 60% off sales just to unload some of their goods. Bros was up today. And the thing that's funny is that they reported that they're going to have 20% growth also, like Dexcom. And this thing was well received, 6.5% advancement. They talked about 5 to 10 years, and I don't know how you can look out 10 years, but anyway, that's what they said. And they're going to be opening stores and all that. But this thing is definitely in a clear downtrend, hit the 50 and got rejected. Another, I call it a retail stock. It's cosmetics. Elf, it just traded down to its 10 EMA today. It's fine. It's had a strong run. Any stock that's had a strong run, you got to expect some profit taking and, pullbacks along the way. That's healthy. Here's Dick's Sporting Goods, made a new 52-week high today. Once again, it's in retail and it was not affected by that Lulu news. But just some other strong stocks that I noticed today is SMCI, of course, one of the top stocks at MC stock charts. And this one, it rallied up to what, to 92.80 and then pulled back. That's, it pulled back like $8. But I definitely wanted to keep an eye on. There's got to be some caution ahead of Jerome Powell talking tomorrow. And I think that's what you saw after last week's 4 days of rally. Then it rallied today, then it pulled back. Just a little caution ahead of, what Jerome Powell is definitely going to be hawkish tomorrow and talk about, they have more work to do and more pain ahead. This is a 4 and it's 5.3% above its 10 EMA. This one just broke out of this base. It's pushing away from its buy point. So that one still looks pretty good. 4 is another strong stock. One stock that I should talk about more that I don't is Schwab. This thing is, if you want something in finance, this is just a really strong stock, well-run company. You can see this nice big base here, and it's just starting to push away from its base, and it's been up, just quite a bit lately here. Now it's 2.8% above its 10 EMA, so not so bad. But you can see the weekly gains here, like the last 4 weeks in a row, 3 weeks coming into this week. Anyway, Schwab is a pretty strong stock. Another one is just, I call it PI, Impinj, I guess it's a semiconductor fabless stock. You can see the gap up. Never filled this earnings gap, just kind of trade sideways, and now it's showing strength once again. It's another stock that I like. AEHR, I'm going to end on this one. That's enough here. This one pulled back. If you look at the weekly, nice big base, and there's a shakeout in the handle here about 4 or 5 weeks. In the last 2 weeks, it's heading higher and was up 16% today. And you could see the volume the last couple of sessions. They reported earnings last week. 14.8 million in sales and decelerating sales growth. You can see the 166 to 89 to 54. So that's not a good trend, but it's just a little flea of a company at 727 million. Anyway, that's it for my daily roundup. We never give up.